On this week's VA News, Deanna and I will share these stories with you.
Secretary Shinseki is on the summer circuit of Veterans Service Organization conferences.
Helping veterans through the time it takes to reduce the claims backlog.
This team of volunteers literally stands up to most anything to help those in need.
I'm Brittany Castillo from Amarillo, Texas, a summer intern in the VHA Office of Communications.
And I'm Deanna Jackson from Bowie, Maryland, also interning this summer in the VHA Office of Communications. Stay where you are because we'll be right back with this week's VA News.
Secretary Shinseki has been making the rounds at the mid-year conferences of different veterans service organizations. Traditionally, the message delivered by the Secretary is like the State of the Union speech, but the state of VA. At the Veterans of Foreign Wars Service Convention in Louisville, Kentucky recently, the Secretary detailed progress to ending the disability claims backlog and eliminating veterans' homelessness by 2015, upgrading mental health care and expanding access to all VA services.
When I first spoke with you in 2009, I observed that the average Secretary of Veterans Affairs served about 3.5 years. And so I said then that we had to move quickly to get as much done as possible in the time we had. I needed help to take on some really tough issues, increasing veterans' access to VA's benefits and services, eliminating, not reducing, not better managing, but eliminate this thing called the backlog and disability claims. And then finally, mobilizing a national initiative to end veterans' homelessness in this country. I asked for your assistance, and you gave it to me. And you continue to do so today. And I am grateful for your support.
One of the methods VA implemented to reduce the backlog was to help veterans file fully developed claims. The department announced recently veterans filing a fully developed claim for the first time may be entitled to 1-year retroactive disability benefits, effective from August 6th this year through August 5th of 2015. For more information on the retroactive benefits and filing a fully developed claim, check out the web address on the screen. In other news, VA launched a campaign and a new website to inform veterans of the Affordable Care Act and what it means to them and their families. Veterans receiving VA health care will see no change in their benefits or out-of-pocket costs when portions of the Affordable Care Act take effect next year. Veterans can apply for VA health care at any time by visiting the VA web address on the screen, calling 1-877-222-VETS, that's 1-877-222-8387, or visiting their local VA healthcare facility. Full details on eligibility are available in the 2013 Federal Benefits for Veterans, Dependents, and Survivors at the address on the screen.
And while we're on the subject, the 2013 Federal Benefits for Veterans, Dependents, and Survivors was just recently posted on the VA website. The Handbook is the most read VA publication year in and year out, and one of the top 2 most read publications in the federal government ever. Here's another look at what to find in the Handbook.
The 2013 edition of one of the federal government's most popular publications is now available. You can get Federal Benefits Book for Veterans, Dependents, and Survivors online at the address on the screen as an ebook or a PDF file. Just click on Media Room, then Publications, and then the Handbook under Books. The 206-page handbook provides the latest information about VA medical care, benefits, and eligibility requirements. Some of the hottest topics include education assistance, disability compensation, pension, home loan guarantee, vocational rehabilitation, life insurance, burial assistance, as well as a complete listing of VA facilities, addresses, phone numbers, and important websites. While the book is free to all veterans, dependents, and survivors through the above link or by visiting your nearest VA facility, you can purchase the hard copy through the government printing office. Limited numbers of copies will be arriving at VA facilities across the nation in August.
We're in the heart of hurricane season and tornadoes are popping up all the time. A perfect time to talk about the value of volunteerism.
There aren't many volunteer operations bigger than we have at VA, with more than 100,000 volunteers helping veterans in all kinds of ways across the nation.
There are other operations that do great works too, though, like Team Rubicon. A veteran-focused enterprise has impacted and saved thousands in Haiti, Chile, Burma, and the Sudan, and here at home at natural disaster events in several states. Here's a repeat but a timeless report on the good works of Team Rubicon by the American veteran.
We rolled into Port-au-Prince in the back of pickup trucks. As we got closer and closer to the city and then to the city center, the masses of people that were trying to move away from Port-au-Prince to go find something that was less chaotic just increased, and we were going in the opposite direction. We were going into the heart of it. It just incrementally got worse and worse. You know, you started to see on the outskirts of the city some of the destruction. Then you got closer and you saw entire buildings collapsed, and then you started to smell. You know, to be quite honest, it was the same sights and smells that we had heard going through Fallujah or going through Baghdad or Afghanistan. My name is Jake Wood. I'm president and co-founder of Team Rubicon. One morning I woke up and I saw on the news what was going on in Port-au-Prince, and for a couple hours I just sat there and watched the television screen because the images that were coming back were so horrific and mind-blowing. And you know, after a little while of doing that, I decided that it was an opportunity to go down there and help. I put out a Facebook post and asked who wanted to join me to go down to Port-au-Prince, and literally a few minutes later, William McNulty gave me a call and said that he wanted to go. And you know, Team Rubicon was really born right then and there.
We put together a team of military veterans and medical professionals. We basically paired Marines with doctors, and we sent them into the hardest hit areas of Port-au-Prince and did medical triage.
You know, for a veteran like William or I, you know, we have a lot more to offer than $10. And we had skill sets that a lot of the volunteers at the Red Cross, a lot of the volunteers at the International Medical Corps didn't have. And we thought that our greatest asset, our greatest resource that we could provide was, you know, ourselves.
We're this flexible and dynamic, rapidly expanding, veteran-focused organization that pretty much have taken the helm on responding to disasters and using our former service members as our core of volunteers that we can call upon, and that's kind of where we're at now, 2.5 years into the organization.
Team Rubicon is different than other aid organizations because it's focused on the veteran. It's focused on giving that self-worth and that purpose and that community back to the veteran. So we're incorporating a lot of the same things that we learned, tactics, procedures that we learned in the military, but we're applying it to disaster response now.
We've been to Haiti, Burma, Pakistan, Chile. We recently have started responding to domestic disasters. Most notably were the tornadoes in the Midwest and a hurricane on the East Coast. Our deployments have been into pretty bad disasters. The sights, the smells, the devastation, the looks in people's eyes knowing that they've potentially lost everything or they have lost everything. The ability to approach a situation with a bit of tenderness even though you're there for a very specific mission. There's a lot of similarities that make us the best people to send into an area like that.
I can't thank you all enough.
No, you're very welcome.
There is no words to say.
You know, you hear so much bad on television, but through this we've seen so much good.
My name's Kevin Heslin, and I'm a research health scientist with the VA Emergency Management Evaluation Center. We are part of the Office of Public Health in the VA, and my colleagues and I are interested in eventually doing a large-scale, sort of long-term study with Team Rubicon so that we can really try to track the mental health benefits of volunteer work on veterans.
The VA approached us about a study they wanted to do regarding the efficacy of a program such as ours for actual therapeutic, measurable results. Could our program, could our volunteer organization that is repurposing veteran skills in disaster relief actually measurably have an answer?
The VA has a huge focus on reintegration into civilian society, and how can we help veterans to do that better. So the idea that this kind of emergency management volunteer work would contribute to that is very exciting.
With the VA, we're really hoping that we can conduct a formal study that that proves that the idea of continued service is something that is beneficial to the veteran and to their transition and to their reintegration into civil society.
Over the last 10 years, it's been very hard for veterans to identify progress. But when you're either saving the life of a child in Port-au-Prince after the earthquake, or whether you're tarping someone's roof in Joplin after a tornado, progress is immediately identifiable, and that's of extreme value to the veteran.
The difference between going on a mission with Team Rubicon versus the experiences that that volunteer might have had in uniform, you're going into a similar environment, but the entire feeling is different. You're not going in there fearing for your life. You're not going in there with a mission that you may be uncomfortable with. You're going there to help people. And I think for the veterans who get involved, that's incredibly therapeutic to know that you're needed and you're wanted, and your only mission in life is to go improve the lives of people whose lives have been devastated. It's really cathartic for the veteran.
There is the hope when you fill out our application that one day you will receive a phone call from me saying, we need you to fly to Africa for this mission. Are you available? And I think that is a very powerful feeling of hope for a lot of people. A lot of people who lost their mission, I think that sense of purpose, that sense of reusing their experience is important and it's powerful, and that's what we do.
Did you know you can easily find out just about anything you want or need to know about America's veteran population on VA Internet pages? If you start with frequently asked questions at the web address on the screen, you can find how many veterans live in your city, county, state, or congressional district. You can learn detailed demographic, period of service, or socioeconomic data about veterans. You can see the total of expenditures for veterans at city, county, state, and congressional district levels. There's data on homeless veterans, veterans with PTSD, survivors and dependents of veterans, the schools veterans attend on the GI Bill, even data about veterans and their health conditions and disabilities, regardless of whether or not they receive VA benefits. And there is so much more. There are links throughout the answers to the frequently asked questions and branches to the National Center for Veterans Analysis and Statistics, maps, reports, and surveys. Check it out.
That's it for this show. We're glad you could join us today. I'm Brittany Castillo.
And I'm Deanna Jackson. By the time you see this, Brittany and I will be headed back home in school. Thanks for the opportunity to be a part of the VA world this summer.